Hey everyone. Alright, so I'll try to talk and walk at the same time. So I wanted to go live, and unfortunately the connection out here is not great. So I'm like, you know what, I'll just do a video and I'll let people know about it and post it on my YouTube as well. But I wanted to talk to you guys about, about something that I recently heard and something that made a lot of sense, and it was just very impactful on everything, because we all go through struggles and we all go through times. And if you don't know who I am, first off, my name is Ashton. I am a mom of 4. I am a health and fitness coach. I'm a certified John C. Maxwell speaker and trainer. What else here? I lost 100 pounds and continued to stay healthy and fit during this journey after I had back surgery. I run my own business to help people focus on their goals and everything, and I'm very, very much a follower of Jesus, and so I speak about my faith. If that's not you, don't worry about it. That doesn't mean, let me show you this quick, I'm getting sidetracked. I am a squirrel too, if you don't know that. That doesn't mean that what I'm saying can't impact you. So anyways, we all go through things in life. We all go through struggles. We all go through loss, and we all go through pain. And, if you guys don't know my story, I'm not going to go way back, because I've been through struggles previously, been through relationship issues, been through being homeless, been through, breakups, whatnot. And after being, married for a little over a year, going through a divorce. And, that's something that's hard to go through and hard to talk about, especially when I'm like, okay, wow, here I am. I've been growing more and more in my faith, and I'm going through a divorce. So anyways, I want to talk to you guys about when you have these things that you're going through, and how to get through them, or just some words of wisdom. So first of all, there was something that I heard by Pastor Rick Warren, and it talked about there is no growth without change, there is no change without loss, there is no loss without pain, and there is no pain without grief. And I had to stop and write that down and be like, okay, wait a minute. Let's talk about change. There's things that we want to change in our lives, and we want to grow in our lives, and we can't do that without change. Sometimes people forget that we have to make a change in our life in order to grow. I mean, think about it. Our bodies, as we're kids and stuff, when we grow, our bodies change. We change. And you can't grow without change. Then it says that there's no change without loss. And I'm like, okay, well, what do I feel about that? And to me, it was more like there's no change without some sacrifice. When you change, when you make changes in your life, you're going to have loss, because you're going to give up things in order to change. Doesn't matter what you're talking about. You can be talking about, you want to be sober. You got to give up alcohol. That's a loss. You want to work out. Maybe you've got to give up time sleeping or time watching TV, because that's the time that you have in order to work out and get healthy and fit. Or food-wise, you've got to give up sugar or whatever it may be. There's going to be loss when you're making those changes. There's going to be sacrifices. And there's no loss without pain. Obviously, it's going to suck, right? So, with that, it is going to be a struggle. It is going to be pain. And it is something that's going to be hard to do, because, sacrificing what comes behind that pain and that loss. Hi. And then there's no pain without grief. When there's pain, when there's struggle, when there's losses and everything, you're going to go through grief. And you have to know how to handle the situation. Well, you don't have to know how to handle it, but you're going to go through this process of things, and it's going to take a lot longer if you don't know how to handle grief. And So, Pastor Rick Warren talked about like 6 stages of grief and stuff, and brought up number 1 is shock, right? Like, oh my goodness, for real? Like, we get this shock of, why is this happening? Like, why me? Or, you know, I don't want to say why me, but we get this shock of, oh my goodness, is this really happening? You know, is this really going down? Like, when all the stuff that was going on with me and everything, oh, fun, stairs, I got stairs. It was a shock, and I want to let you know that those are just feelings. Those are emotions. They're not, shock is not from God. It's not a godly emotion. Like, there's nothing that's going to shock him. He's not going to be like, oh yeah, I totally didn't see that one coming. Yeah, no. He knows everything. The next thing is sorrow. We all go through sorrow. And that's the, you know, why me? Why me? Why this? Why did this have to happen? I don't understand this. And oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. It took me, I was in that stage with what was going on in my life for probably, I want to say a couple months. I want to say a good 3 months. And to me, that's a long time. I feel like that's a long time to be in that position. And even though I was growing and, you know, in my faith and this and that, I probably shouldn't have been in that stage. Like, I kept wanting to know why. Why? It doesn't do us any good. But, okay, let me backtrack. I said that wrong. So that's a struggle. Sorrow is you're crying. You know, I dealt with many tears, and it's okay because sorrow is a godly emotion. Jesus wept. You know, God griefs. So let me go back and say number 1 is shock, number 2 is sorrow, where we, you know, it's that pain, it's that grieving, it's that. So I went through that for a month or 2. Then I went through the whole struggle, which is the why. I went through that for like 3 months. It took me a long time to really let go of that and be like, you know what? I don't need to know why, because eventually one day I will. And God really had to lay it on my heart that, you know, you don't need to know why. Just step forward. And it did. It took a long process. Number 4 is surrender. So I had to surrender this to God. I had to surrender. I had to acknowledge it, and I had to let go. I did. I'm like, all right, I don't need to know why. Here, I'm yours. And it's at that point where we start that healing process. And number 5 is sanctification. Long word. So that's where God turns the bad things into good. So some people, there's a lot of people that might struggle with, okay, if there's a God, why would God do this? Or why would God let this happen? Or this, or this, or this? And I can't tell you why things happen. But I do believe in my God. I do believe in Jesus. I do believe in the resurrection. And what I do know is, I'm not sure why everything happens the way it does. But all I do know is that there's a plan. And even when things come in our lives, whether they're from God, whether they're not from God, whether it's a circumstance, whether it's our choices that we make that puts us in a circumstance, God will turn whatever comes in our way and path into good. So he likes to use, you know, it's a point where you become more godly. Like, I grew and grew and grew more into my faith because I didn't know where to go. I really didn't. There was something that first happened. You know, it was step by step. Like, all these little things that happened to me, I started growing closer to God. And it was because I didn't really know where to go. I didn't. Like, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine myself not coming to the Lord and my Father and stuff. And bringing these to him. Because I know all the stuff that I've done and was in before I knew God, and just the bitterness and the anger and the attitude that I had. Oh my goodness. I'm so thankful I know the Lord. Let's just say that. And I still have way more to grow. I'm not going to be done growing until I'm dead. So, the last thing, 6, is service. And service is where you take your greatest pain and you turn it into your message, your greatest pain in your life, the things that you're ashamed of, the things that you don't want to talk about. You turn those things into your message. Who is better to help someone than something that you're going through? If you've got an addiction and you got through it and you struggled through it, but you got through it. Sometimes we don't want to talk about those things, right? Because we think people are going to judge us. That's where that fear of judgment comes. That's where all that fear of whatever comes. But there's people who are going through similar things and struggles, and you can be that person to use that. So I know God has placed things on my heart to speak about. And, obviously there's been many of struggles that I've gone to that I've been open to speak about, and I really don't care about speaking about them because I'm not ashamed of them. And I know that it's going to impact someone and it's going to inspire someone's life. That's just kind of the way that I felt. I'm like, if people want to judge me, go ahead. I don't care. I really don't. I really, truly, honestly don't, because I know where my heart is, and that comes from God. Like, I know 100% where I stand with the Lord, and so whatever anybody else says to say, I don't care. It's a good feeling, right? So let me just quickly speak about those again, or not speak about them, but so number 1 is shock, number 2 is sorrow, number 3 is struggle, number 4 is surrender, number 5 is sanctification, number 6 is service. So life doesn't have to make sense. You don't have to understand what you're going through, but all I can tell you is that you can go through it, and you can get through it, and your life will radically change. And when you use those things, when you feel, I know that the enemy is not going to want to let you speak about the things that you've gone through. He's going to make you feel like, I can't talk about that. I can't speak about that. And that doesn't come from God. He wants to, just for instance, someone who goes through a divorce. Don't you think that I might be able to help someone else who's going through a divorce since I've gone through it? What else is there? You have a parent that dies. Don't you think that that might be something that you can help someone go through who is going through that? Like, who better to talk to than somebody who's been through a similar situation and has gone through that and used the pain and struggle and pushed through and had a breakthrough? Powerful. So powerful, you guys. It's amazing what we can do. And if we just stand together and know that, hey, you know what? I don't care if you want to place judgment on me. I'm going to speak about this because I know that it can change and impact someone. Mine was compromising with God. I know that that's going to be a big thing that I'll talk to you guys about. But I compromised with God, like when I was first getting to know Him and build a relationship with Him. I started an ungodly relationship, and it was hard to break away from that. And then I also compromised with Him. So that will be more in depth to talk about later, maybe next month or so, or a couple months. I'm just kind of waiting to receive word from Him on when it's good, and just let Him use me to speak to all of you guys. So last but not least, let me wrap this up. When you guys are going through a rough time, understand that there's going to be a process. There's going to be things that you will go through that are not fun. But you don't have to use those to stop you in your track. You don't have to use those to hide them from everybody else. You don't have to be stuck in one of those stages. Like, you need to keep going through the stages. So don't get stuck in the struggle. Like I told you, I was stuck in the struggle for probably like 3 months. And I feel like that was, it probably was actually 4 or 5, maybe even 6 months. It was a long time that I'm like, why? 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 I just want to know why. I don't understand it. I just want to know why. And I felt like I was in that stage for a lot longer. And I could even feel, even though I was pursuing the Lord, I was getting very, very frustrated. And not really with him, but like spiritually, I felt like I started dying. And I just, like, I went to church and stuff, and I was still trying to seek on these things and pray and stuff, but I'm like, no, I don't know. So I hope that makes sense. But just know that you're going to go through what you're going to get. You're going to get through what you're going through. Don't let the processes stop you, get you stuck, or make you think that people are going to think differently of you because you're going through it. Because those that do, no. Don't even worry about that. So this video is a lot longer than I wanted to, so I apologize. I just wanted to say I love you all. I'm praying for all of you guys that are going through situations and struggles, and I just lift you up to the Lord to be fully filled with love and joy, and just to feel His presence among you, and that that He softens your heart to be open to speak to people about what's going on and seek spiritual wisdom and guidance, just to know that you're not alone and that you don't have to go through this alone, that there's someone out there that can help you and guide you. And so I pray that He just softens your heart and opens you up to speak to somebody to get you past the things that you're going through right now. So I love you all. I pray that in Jesus' name. Happy Mother's Day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.